Okay, welcome back. Ya, sebagaimana saya janjikan dalam kelas tadi, saya akan sambung rakaman ini dengan statement of financial position, statement of profit or loss, dan juga statement of changes in equity. Okay, secara detailnya. Okay ya. So, we are going to start with statement of financial position first. Okay, we are going to start with statement of financial position first. So, how the statement of financial position look like in the consolidation? Okay, so we can see from here, the statement of financial position is basically comprised of normal items in the statement of financial position. The only difference is the statement of financial position of a group comprised of statement of financial position items of the parent as well as the subsidiary. So we can see from here, under the non-current asset, the first item is property, plant and equipment. Okay, so the property, plant and equipment here, we are combining the property, plant and equipment of the parent and of the subsidiary. That is 295,750 parent and subsidiary 660,500. Okay. At the same time, we have to add back the unrealized loss. We have to add back the unrealized loss because we cannot recognize a loss between members of the group. 1,500. At the same time, because of the unrealized loss just now, the value of the property, plant, equipment has reduced by 1,500. So because of that, the depreciation also understated. That's why we have to restate the understated depreciation here. That's why we have to minus 300. How do we get 300 just now? 300 is based on 1,500 divided by 5 years. Okay, so the property, plant, equipment of the group that comprise of H&S on 31st December 2015 is 957,450. Okay. What about the investment in ordinary share, investment in preference share, and investment in debenture? For these three investments, we have eliminated. We eliminate the investment in ordinary share, we eliminate investment in preference share, and we eliminate investment in debenture. How do we eliminate? We are eliminating by showing the journal entry here. By showing the journal entry. Okay, so how do we show the journal entry here? First, we debit asset revaluation reserve of S 80,000. We debit retained earning of S 100,000, retained earning on the date of acquisition, and we debit ordinary share capital of S 250,000. At the same time, we debit the goodwill 57,500 just now. Then we credit the non-controlling interest. We credit the non-controlling interest 107,500 and credit in investment in ordinary share in S 380,000. That's why 380,000 is not appearing here because we have eliminated. Okay, we have eliminated. The same goes to investment in preference share. So for investment in preference share, we debit preference share capital of S 150. We credit investment in S 90 and we credit non-controlling interest 60. That's why we cannot see here, investment in preference share. And then investment in debenture also the same. Debit debenture of S 48, credit investment in S 48. Okay. Alright. So the goodwill on consolidation balance is only 23,000 because there are two impairments. The first impairment is 11,500 and second impairment is 23,000. So the balance on 31st December is 23,000. Okay, I may put here the working here. I may put here the working. Okay, and this one here, investment in ordinary share. Basically, I don't have to put here because I have shown here the debit and credit. Yeah? Debit and credit here that result in 0 investment in ordinary share, investment in preference share, and investment in debenture. Okay, next. Now, we are going to discuss about current asset. Now, we are going to discuss about current asset. The first current asset is inventory. So, inventory here is the combination of inventory of the parent, 100, and inventory of the subsidiary, 70. 170. But do you remember just now that we have unrealized profit on inventory? So, unrealized profit on inventory, 7,500 will be deducted here. The unrealized profit will make the inventory overstated. That's why we have to minus 7,500 here so that the inventory will be shown at cost. 7,500. Okay. Next is trade receivable. We can see from here the trade receivable is 150 and 130. This is basically the trade receivable of the parent plus subsidiary. And we have to minus 100. Why 100? Why 100 here is regarded as intercompany transaction or intercompany balance, whereby S has not paid yet 100,000. S has not paid yet 100,000. So we have to minus here. 100,000 is intercompany transaction between H and S. So the total inventory just now is 162,500. The total trade receivable is 180,000. Next, we go to dividend receivable. I said just now, the dividend receivable is coming from subsidiary. The dividend receivable is coming from subsidiary. That's why we have to eliminate. Okay, because any transaction between parent and subsidiary need to be eliminated. So 29,750 minus 25,950 minus 25,950. So the balance is 0 here. And the same goes to interest receivable. All the interests are received from the subsidiary. So we have to minus here. What about cash and bank balance? And cash and bank balance, we need to add the cash and bank balance of the parent and of the subsidiary together. So total asset of the group is 1,540,950. Now we go to equity and liabilities. Okay, equity and liabilities start with ordinary share. Ordinary share of the parent and of the subsidiary. So the amount balance of ordinary share of the group is only of the parent. Why only of the parent? Because we have eliminated the ordinary share of subsidiary. Okay, if you remember just now, okay, here, okay, we have debited the ordinary share capital of subsidiary 250. We have debited 250. That's why 250 is not there. I put there plus 250 and minus 250. Okay. And the same goes to preference share. Yeah, 100 plus 150 minus 150. So equal to 100. Okay. What about retained earning? Other components of equity and non-controlling interest. This one is ARR. Yeah. You don't have to calculate because we have calculated in our analysis. So we just take from our analysis, retained earning 359,025, asset revaluation reserve is 37,500, and non-controlling interest is 190,425. Basically, we straight away take from analysis carried down here. This is carried down. The three figures can be found here: 359,025, 37,500, and 190,425. Okay. So we are taking the figures from there. Next is debentures. Okay, debentures just now, only subsidiary has debentures. And the number of debentures is 120. Why we have to minus 48? Because 48 is the amount acquired by the parent H. So 120 minus 48. You can see there. You see here the journal entry. Debit debenture 48, credit investment in S 48. Then trade receivable, trade payable. Trade payable of the parent 194.35, subsidiary 150. And we have to minus 100. Okay, why we have to minus 100? Because 100 is intercompany balance between the parent and subsidiary. The subsidiary has not yet paid 100,000. So it is an intercompany and need to be eliminated. And then dividend payable of parent plus dividend payable of subsidiary. 48 is of H and 37.25 is, 37 is of the subsidiary. And we have to minus 25.95 because 25.95 has been paid to the parent. So after we minus 25.95, the balance of dividend is 59,050. Okay, 59,050. And now interest payable of the subsidiary is 6,000. We have to minus 2,400 because 2,400 is paid to the parent. Okay, so basically we can see the movement here. In our dividend receivable, we minus 25,950. In our payable also 25,950. Okay, interest here 2,400, we minus. Here also we minus 2,400. Okay, and tax payable is actually the combination between tax payable of the parent and tax payable of the subsidiary. Alright? Okay, next. Next, we want to know about the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income of the group. Okay, so here we show the consolidated statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. We start with revenue. We can see from here the revenue is combination of revenue of the parent and revenue of the subsidiary. 500 plus 300. And we have another item. That is intercompany sale between the parent and the subsidiary just now. The parent sold goods 90,000 to subsidiary. So sale of goods between members of the group is not recognized because it does not increase the value of sale of the group. So we have to minus 90,000. And then cost of sale. Cost of sale, we add together the cost of sale of the parent and cost of sale of the subsidiary. 250 plus 110. At the same time, we minus also 90. Why we have to minus 90? Because 90 is intercompany purchase. Yeah, the subsidiary purchased 90,000 from the parent. However, for the cost of sale, we have to add back the unrealized profit of 7,500. We have to add back. Yeah, we have to add back to the cost. Yeah, we have to add back the cost. So basically, why we add back the cost? Cost of goods sold comprise of opening inventory plus purchases minus closing inventory. Yeah, cost of sale comprise of opening inventory, okay, plus purchases minus closing inventory. So if the closing inventory is overstated, yeah, if the closing inventory is overstated, then the cost of sale is understated. So to avoid the cost of sale to be understated, we have to add back. We have to add back the what? We have to add back the unrealized profit to the closing inventory. Sorry, we deduct from the closing inventory unrealized profit. Okay, unrealized profit. So that's why we plus back here. Yeah. So 250 plus 110 minus 90 plus 7,500. So gross profit of the group is 432,500. Okay. And then inside the other income and also expenses, we can see from the question loss on disposal of 1,500. Since we cannot recognize this, so we have to eliminate the loss of 1,500. We need to eliminate. So there is no loss. At the same time, dividend income 25,950, we need to eliminate because this one is dividend received from subsidiary. The same goes to interest income. Interest income 4,800, we need to eliminate. Okay, we need to eliminate, so it becomes 0. And also other income, other income 2,000, we need to eliminate. Why we need to eliminate? Do you remember? Okay, 2,000 was paid by the subsidiary to the parent. Yeah, for the subsidiary it is expenses, for the parent it is revenue. Okay, so everything is 0 there. And then in the year 2015, there is impairment of goodwill that need to be shown in the statement of profit or loss, 23,000. Okay, then distribution cost. Distribution cost is combination of distribution cost of the parent and subsidiary, 55,000. Admin cost is parent plus subsidiary, 50 plus 30. Okay, 50 plus 30. But we need to minus 2,000. Why we minus 2,000 here? Do you remember here? Ada income 2,000. Ada income for the parent and other expenses for the subsidiary. So we minus the admin expenses. And we add back the depreciation just now, 0.3 or 300. 300,000 0.3. Ya, 0.3 ni, 300. Okay, and then finance cost. Finance cost of the subsidiary 12,000. 12,000 we have to minus 4,800 because 4,800 is related to interest income here. Related to interest income here. We eliminate here and we eliminate here also, 4,800. So we arrive at profit before tax of 269,000 and taxation is combination of parent and subsidiary, 99,000. So profit for the year is 170,000. Okay. I hope you can understand that. Okay, especially about the calculation of revenue, the calculation of cost, the calculation of other income, as well as the calculation of expenses. Okay. So after we know what is the amount of profit for the year after tax, we have to add the other comprehensive income, that is fair value gain on revaluation, 30,000. How do we get 30,000? 20,000 from the parent and 10,000 from the subsidiary. So the total comprehensive income for the year 2015 is 200,000. Yeah, 170 plus 30 equal to 200,000. Okay, out of 170,000 profit, out of 170,000 profit, some of the profit are belong to the non-controlling interest. Okay, because we remember that non-controlling interest also hold 25% ordinary share in subsidiary. So by holding 25% ordinary share in subsidiary, it is entitled for 25% of the profit of the subsidiary, to share the profit of the subsidiary. So the profit of the subsidiary is 170,000. Sorry, the profit of the group is 170,000. What is the amount of profit of the subsidiary? The amount of profit of the subsidiary is based on the question just now. Okay, what is the profit of subsidiary from the question? The profit of the subsidiary from question is 77,500. So, some part of 77,500 belong to non-controlling interest. Okay, let us calculate. Let us calculate the amount of profit of subsidiary that is attributable to the non-controlling interest. So, we see the calculation here. Okay, profit after tax and total comprehensive income attributable to non-controlling interest. Since the non-controlling interest is holding 25% interest, it is entitled for 25% of the net profit of the subsidiary. Okay, let's see the calculation. The profit after tax of subsidiary from the question is 77,500. Okay, And then we have to add back the unrealized loss, 1,500. We have to add back the unrealized loss, 1,500. And then we have to minus depreciation, 300. Okay, this one we have shown in our analysis. Okay, and some of you already asked just now why we have to minus 300. Okay, and then in addition to that, it has preference dividend of 12,000. Preference dividend of 12,000. Okay, and then after we minus the preference dividend, we arrive at profit available for ordinary shareholders, 66,700. Okay, so out of 66,700, 25% belong to NCI. So we multiply 66,700 with 25%. So it is equal to 16,675. Okay, in addition to that, non-controlling interest NCI is also entitled for 40% of the preference dividend. The preference dividend just now is 12,000. The NCI is entitled for 40% of that. So 40% of 12,000 is 4,800. Okay, so from here, when we total the amount of profit attributable to NCI, it is 16,675 plus 4,800. That is equal to 21,475. So 21,475 out of 170,000 is the profit attributable to non-controlling interest. And the balance of the profit after tax, 148,525, belong to the members of the parent. Okay, belong to the members of the parent, 148,525. Next is to calculate the total comprehensive income attributable to non-controlling interest. Okay, just now, there is a surplus on revaluation. Yeah, there is a 10,000 surplus on revaluation of subsidiary. So 10,000 surplus on revaluation multiplied by 25%. It's equal to 2,500. So in addition to 21,475, there is a 2,500 surplus on revaluation attributable to non-controlling interest. So altogether, total comprehensive income attributable to NCI is 23,975. And we put here 23,975 out of 200,000 total comprehensive income. So the balance is 176,025 belong to the members of the parent. Okay. And lastly, the statement of changes in equity. Statement of changes in equity. Statement of changes in equity, we have 3 columns. Okay. It starts with balance brought down, followed by acquisition during the year, followed by adding the profit after tax of the year, and also revaluation during the year, and also dividend proposed. It ends with balance carried down. So in the first column, the first column is for group retained earning. Group retained earning will start with balance brought down that we have calculated in analysis brought down. In analysis brought down, we find that group retained earning brought down is 258,500 here. 258,500. And then the balance brought down of group ARR is 10,000. And the opening balance of NCI is 177,500. So that is the purpose of analyzing the financial statement brought down to find the opening balance of group retained earning, opening balance of group ARR, and opening balance of non-controlling interest. And then followed by profit after tax for the year based on the calculation that we have just made just now. This one, 21,475 belong to NCI. So we put here. Whereas 148 525 belong to the parent. Okay, here 148525 for the parent. We put here under the group retained earning column. And then the last item in the group retained earning is 48,000 dividend proposed by the parent. So the balance of group retained earning carried down on 31st December 2015 is 359,025. Is the same as the balance that we can find in analysis carried down. Next is ARR. So ARR opening balance is 10,000 just now, and revaluation during the year is 27,500. How do we know 27,500? Yes, 20,000 is of the parent, 7,500 is 70%, 75% of 10,000 revaluation of the subsidiary. And the group ARR total is 37,500. And lastly, non-controlling interest balance just now, opening 177,500, profit for the year 21,475, plus revaluation during the year 2,500, minus dividend proposed by subsidiary. Okay, so dividend proposed by the subsidiary, I have to show here. Ordinary dividend proposed by subsidiary, how much? 25,000. Yeah, 25,000. Out of 25,000, 40% belong to the NCI. So 25,000 times 25% is equal to 6250. And for the preference share, total preference share dividend is 12,000. Out of 20,000, out of 12,000, 40% belong to NCI. Yeah, it is equal to 4,800. So total dia 11,050. So 11,050 here we minus. Okay. So what you have to understand is whenever the subsidiary paid dividend to non-controlling interest, the value of non-controlling interest will reduce. And we can see from here that the value at the end of the year of group retained earning, group asset revaluation reserve, and non-controlling interest is the same value as we can find in analysis of financial statement carried down. Okay, the value is exactly the same. Okay, class. Okay, I hope you can understand this example. Inshallah, in the next class, we are going to discuss about full goodwill. So with that, we end this video. Assalamualaikum.